You step into your favorite tackle shop. Rods, reels, lures, hooks, baits. But there's one very important piece of gear that's often overlooked. I don't feel like anyone ever talks about fishing line, and that kind of blows my mind because fishing line is by far the most important part of any setup. Think about it for a minute. If you don't have the best rod, you can still catch fish. If you don't have the best reel, you can still catch fish. But what happens when you put a substandard line onto that reel or that rod? You lose fish. Now there's three types of line that really make up the whole fishing line market, and that's monofilament, fluorocarbon, and of course braid. And if I had to pick one of those to use for the rest of my life, hands down, I would pick braid. But not just any braid, I would pick KastPro. Now I know what you're thinking, of course you're gonna say that. We saw the title of the video, we know that you love KastKing, so I don't want you to take my word for it. I want you to listen to these guys. My name is Jared.
My name is Jimmy.
My name is Tim.
I'm Nick.
And I'm John.
Welcome to Ride Along Fishing.
Castability is great though.
Cast really smooth.
It's smooth. It's like butter.
Seems very smooth. Good sensitivity. I can feel it when it hits bottom.
You can feel when you're touching something.
Like I can definitely tell I'm on weeds. Whereas like with mono, I might be a little concerned at first if it was a fish or weeds.
Seems very sensitive. Do you see the fish right there? See, now I just saw a fish right there, so I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can't catch him. Felt him bite, so it seems very, very sensitive.
It's been about 10 years when I switched to braid, and I've never looked back. I've always at least had 2 rig ups where they were always running braid. Yeah, I switched to braid because I get tired of hookup, line breaks, because it floats. Has no memory, no stretch. So when something hooks, when you set the hook, you know you set the hook. It seems like the knot strength is really nice on this too. I mean, I would have to hooked up our rock.
Now you get to figure out the strength, right?
Yeah. Well, see if it did any damage or frayed the line though. No single fray.
Nope.
If I had to pick one, it certainly wouldn't be, it would be mono. It's invisible, it's clear, I'm used to it, I guess there's one. I've had it on, I'm confident in it. I am confident in my line because I've been using monofilament lines since like, I don't know, 1980 something. So I mean, to get a person to change from one line to another is really hard. Now I see that there are uses now for braided line. A braided line for me, like the KastPro, is good, it's smooth, it has all of that, but it doesn't have that confidence for me. Now, how is the invisibility when you say, I mean, you know, I see this blue color here, and to me, I feel like it's affecting the fish. I got a bite right off the bat.
I want this fishing line.
Well, I think I actually like it. I like it a lot. I think it has its usages. I like the fact that it's a biodegradable spool. That I really love. The fact that it's made in the USA, love that as well. I think it has its usages. I think it's a really good braid, actually. And I think the thing is getting a lot of people to understand the differences between the lines so that they use them properly. So that way, you know, each one has its usage. But if I was to recommend, I would recommend this KastPro line. It's very smooth, very durable. Those guys drive in and now they're toting off. I would give KastPro a try for sure. It's a really good line. The fact that it's biodegradable spool in itself speaks a lot. I mean, they're obviously thinking about the environment. They're thinking about the fishermen. I say give it a try. You know, put it on your line, give it a whirl, see what happens. Because you know, the next new thing could be the best thing. You don't know until you try.
So we've heard a lot of people talk about KastPro, and it's my turn. I have more experience with this stuff than anybody else that we've talked to today. And I gotta tell you, I break all the rules of how you spool up with braid. I'm using straight braid. Everyone today used straight braid, and we didn't catch a fish. But that's not the point. The point is to get that perspective of somebody else that's very familiar with braided lines, that is only a weekend warrior, not very familiar with like the fishing tackle industry as a whole, to get the opinion of somebody that only uses mono lines, and then to get the opinion of somebody in the middle that only used mono lines and is only a weekend warrior. And the general consensus is that braid is good, and KastPro is a great braid. I could sit here and I could talk your ears off for another 6 minutes about how great KastPro is, but I'm not going to do that. You heard all of it, you heard it all, and you're going to make up your own mind in the long run anyway. And the link, if you guys want to check it out for yourselves, is down below in the description. But there are some things that I definitely want to talk about. I want to point out the fact that it's made in America. There's not a whole lot of fishing tackle retailers that can say that nowadays. KastKing bringing jobs back into the States, especially in this day and age where everyone else is shipping out. The other thing I want to talk about is where KastKing has chose to compete with this braid. They went straight to the top. You all know who we're talking about. I don't think I need to say it.
I'd even started doubling up my knots, and they would still start to pull out because of just the weird plasticky wax coating on it.
But KastKing is also made with Honeywell SPECTRA fibers. When you factor in the made in America, the SPECTRA fibers, and then you take into account the price difference between KastPro and its nearest competitor, even though, would you switch?
For the same price? Yeah, absolutely.
Made in America, great quantity for a great price, SPECTRA fibers. The other thing I want to point out is this spool has been on here since KastPro came out. This was my very first spool of KastPro ever. It has been sitting on this reel since the day I got it. And look at that color. There is no color fade at all. That's crazy that there's that little color fade, and if there's another braid that holds up that well, that matches the strength and everything else that KastPro has to offer, please let me know. But I think you're gonna be hard pressed to find it. And then to cap it all off, KastKing went ahead and put this flagship quality line on a biodegradable spool. This is something that no other fishing tackle company has done. And you would think that these fishing tackle companies would be at the forefront of conservation, trying to do what's right by the consumers and by the environment. It's a no-brainer for me. It's a no-brainer for everybody else that was on here today. So I guess that's gonna do it, and I'll leave the rest up to you guys. My name is Jared, and we'll catch you next time. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Oh. And there's that KastPro right there. Proof is in the pudding, right? Whew. Oh, I love it. Thanks, buddy. And thank you, KastPro.